Hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk about advanced session assurance capabilities of Access Manager that is coming with 4.3. Advanced session assurance solves many of the security problems related to session hijacking and session replay related things. So let's talk about the problem statement that we are looking at. This is one of the problem statements that I earlier said. It's pretty basic and applicable to most of our web accesses today, where a victim, he will be logging into a web server, providing credentials. Once authenticated, he would get a session cookie, set it on the browser. So attacker somehow gets hold of that cookie either from over the network or from maybe he's running something on the device and he gets hold of this cookie, or maybe he could have even got it from the server where cookie may be getting dumped into logs or something. So attacker would use that cookie and tries to replay it from his device, and he gets to access the all the resources that the victim has access to. So this is one of the very basic problem that we are looking at today. Okay, and this could be applicable to our access manager sessions that we create in identity provider and access gateway. So how this is currently protected with 4.2. So 4.2, one could configure a source IP validation. So if the user's sessions is coming from the same IP, or if it is changing, if it changes, we could detect it based on the source IP. This is one of the protection. Also, to prevent cookie from getting hijacked, one can, we to set HTTP only and secure flags. And for the, for somebody taking over the network, it's transmitted over the HTTPS. One could configure TLS 1.1 and 1.2 and a very strong ciphers for preventing somebody to take it, read it over the network. Okay. And these cookie values are randomly generated. One cannot use any guesswork of creating a new cookie or duplicating the cookie value. And new session cookie is created per session, per user basis. If user logs in again from the same browser, he gets a new cookie and old cookie will not get reused. So such kind of protections we have. So in addition to that, in 4.3, we are coming up with the advanced session assurance feature where it includes 3 levels of protection. So the first one is cookie renew. So in this, where an attacker is, let's say, even if it gets hold of cookie with all this protection, he will not be able to use it from another box because we keep changing the cookie for every interval. So interval could be like as small as 1 minute. Okay, so the second part of so cookie renewal is one of the bigger protections. So the second part of it is the server-side fingerprinting. So being at the server, currently one can do a source IP-based validation. In addition to that, we would pick user agent and accept headers. So these are the information we get it from the browser to make sure he is using the same browser instance throughout the session. We are planning to validate this one too. So the third one is bigger one, wherein we are planning to use user's device fingerprinting. So if it's coming from a mobile device or if it's coming from a desktop, we will consider what type of device he is using, what are the different characteristics of the operating system and hardware. So we use all that to fingerprint it, and we will validate for every small interval to make sure that his sessions are coming from the same device. Okay, so let's go to the big list of parameters that we consider on the user's endpoint. So it could be our browser and operating system related details. What is the version of the browser, what is the type of browser, operating system details, and hardware information could include whether his device supports touch or other things, and all the HTML5 capabilities a browser has. And we could also use WebGL Canvas based fingerprinting, which is supposed to be the stronger fingerprint that's available. And we'll consider locale based information too. So what are the different locales supported by the browser and what are the things that is considered by the browser. And the last part is the screen resolution. So this would help, add protection against for the, if somebody hacks a session, and this is just a layer or layer protection that is added to the session. So having said that, let me walk you through how this 3 advanced session assurance things work when it comes to with the Access Manager flow. So client could be accessing an identity provider or an access gateway. So he would either be authenticating or trying to access some resources. So first time when he access, we will execute a contract wherein he would have he provided his credentials as well as a strong authentication as well as any two-factor authentication. So once his authentication is completed, before marking the session as authenticated, what we do is we fetch the device parameter. So that would get all the browser, hardware, operating system related information. And on the server, we would also pick the server side fingerprinting parameters. Once all these parameters are fetched, we would save it in the session. Then we would mark that session as authenticated, and we would set a new session cookie back onto the client. Okay. So let's say after a small interval, let's say after a minute or so, he makes a new request to the server, and what server does is it tries to fetch all this information that he did during the authentication, and it would validate against the stored fingerprint. So all the server-side parameters, client-side parameters, as well as the cookies are validated against the current saved session. If any of them is not matching, we would deny it. Else we would renew a new session cookie and set it back to the device, and we will continue to serve it. So this way, adding a 3-layer of protection over the existing one provides a very strong security for anybody preventing from session hijacking as well as session replay. Okay, having said that, I would move on to the demo. Okay, this is the Access Manager 4.3 login page. When I'm accessing it, it's asking for my credentials. So let me provide as username password. Hope I provided it right. So it authenticated me. So now that I got authenticated at around this time, so I had to wait for a minute for this next cycle to hit for recalculation of the fingerprint. So meanwhile, let me show you how the the flow as well as this is the flow where you would have authenticated, and then we would have redirected to get the fingerprint, and here is the cookie that we just set. So let me copy it, the current cookie, and let me show how the cookie changes after some time, after a minute. So let's go back here. So we have to wait for 30 more seconds. So okay, so now user may be working in this time span. So he could continue to work. It looks seamless and it happens in the background. Now that we have reached a minute of time, let me try to do a refresh. Okay, so at this time it sends that there has been a change. So let's see. Why doesn't it show? Request headers. Okay, now let's open this and see if this matches. So looks like the cookie has been changed when this 1 minute has happened. 1 minute has lapsed. So this is one way of protection. So let me show you another way of protection. So let's go to its settings, and let me try to change something called maybe language. Okay, so this has like 3 languages. So let me delete one of the languages. Okay, I would say done. Okay, now this is a demo where device fingerprint has changed. So at this point of time we should log out. So it looks like we have already lapsed another minute. So oh sorry. So it looks like I had two things. So this actually since the things have changed, it has logged me out. So let's go through the logs and see what has exactly has happened. So root cause device fingerprint has changed. So this is the error that you're getting. So here is the details. Trying to forcefully log out the session, root cause device fingerprint has changed. So looks like in the trace login it says mismatch. Flexible attribute match is less than the threshold, so looks like it was able to match only 75%, so we should have 100% match. So this match is nothing but all the parameter list which were fetched from the client is matching to the current fingerprint or not. So which mismatched is the one is called device language or language set. So this language set is mismatched, so I'm forcibly logging in out. So this is the demo where it shows the capability of adding additional protection layer with the device fingerprint. If any of the things have changed, we'll log out. So thank you. Hope this helps.